Quick, just making sure that's working. Okay, and are we good? We are live on YouTube.
Let's basketball game on here.
Hit record here.
Great sports day, by the way.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hopefully This Is Our Year, Doug.
What up?
How you doing?
Hopefully this is our year. I'm going to drink some, it's 11:30 a.m., so I'm going to drink some fucking High Horse Rainbow-ass double IPA from Pennsylvania.
Ooh, this is a new state.
Stable 12. Put a pin in the map. We're taking the tour. Cross off Pennsylvania, baby.
I think you need a map behind your
desk.
I honestly need to put a pin and maybe like you can hang
the logo,
the beer tab or something from.
Yeah, dude. We got to really get to work on this show, but we do have some dedicated fans.
All three of you.
Some of them not in my family, direct family, but yes.
So thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by
High Horse Double IPA.
Double IPA.
Beautiful can.
Beautiful can.
And Mike, you're going to be babysitting, so I'd imagine you're on your third or fourth whiskey on the rocks.
I'm on protein shake number 1. Dry January day 13. Captain's log. It's going well. I never thought I'd say that 44 years old, not drinking is a good decision.
I thought you've done this before, no?
I have. I've done it before, but I think every other time I've done it, I didn't have a kid. And so I was always begrudgingly like, oh yeah, I need to calm down. I had a hard December, had a hard, whatever.
Yeah.
My liver needs a break, but now
tough year.
Tough year. But I have a kid now, and I think I said this on a previous episode, but a good buddy of mine told me a long time ago, kids don't give a fuck if you have a hangover. And they don't know. They don't care. Like, they still get up at 7 and they still want to do their same shit that they want to do every day. And if you cannot just be a sloth on the couch, you gotta chase the kid around, make him breakfast, give him milk, all this stuff. They're, dependent.
I'd imagine days where you get to do nothing are precious and far between. And do you cherish them?
Yeah, it's never days. It's
like a window. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so this morning I was going to get up at 4:30 a.m. to watch the Chelsea Fulham game. So glad I didn't, because that sleep was way better. Chelsea won 1-0 on a penalty kick. Saw the highlights already
some
caught up.
Thrilling early morning action, I'm sure.
And I got to sleep until 6:45. Woke up at 6:45. Baby didn't get up till 7:30, so I got to have my coffee.
Oh, that's delightful.
Read a little Athletic. Check out a little Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called. Catch up on some news. See, I've actually been reading the two things have been fascinating me in this past week, because we're a New York sports show, right?
No, but there's a ton going on always,
and we're kind of in like the doldrums of
these New York teams suck.
Yeah, both the football teams are out. It's Super Wild Card Saturday today, which is cool. You know, Brooklyn Nets are probably going to be fighting for the 10th seed. They're not very exciting. They're very injured. The Islanders are playing okay. They got a game today against Nashville, which we were just talking about in Nashville.
They're always entertaining. I'm not sure if they're good. They're certainly an entertaining team.
They're still holding down third place in the division. Yeah. They're still, going. They're probably going to make the playoffs the way that they're playing. They play well. I think they're playing well. I think, they just got Pellick back. Kulak is on his way back. I don't know how soon, but once we get him back, we've finally got our top 5 defenders, and then, you can figure out if you want. I think Riley's earned that. He's position next to Mayfield, right?
Absolutely. Especially when you have Mayfield, Pellick, and Romanoff on the blue line, you need more offensive firepower at that position, and he's better than Aho. So I do think Aho will be out.
He's better and he's bigger than Aho, but Aho can play as the 7th defenseman.
No, he's perfect as a 7th, and Aho's not bad, but Riley's game is a little better. He's not great in his D zone either. And I don't want to get off on the Isles, but real quick, I did want to bring this up this week because this passes my eye test. I'm not on Twitter, but I used to follow a guy named Jay Fresh there. I don't know if you know him. He does like analytics, NHL analytics. And he has a big following. I think he's a Penguins fan, but like NHL fans follow him. Anyway, real quick, he said, and he can't post this, so he said he's talking to someone who has access to the proprietary advanced stats that the teams use it's not available to the public. Apparently that stuff factors in stuff like pass quality and odd man rushes and blah, 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 whatever. It's just another way to like look at what's happening with what we see in these games. That guy told this guy that the Islanders have the best goaltending in the league this year and the worst defense. And from what I've seen this year, I kind of agree. And the tweet said, yes, even worse than the Sharks.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, we lost to the Sharks after being 5-1.
So just long story short, the defensive zone play has just been atrocious. Mayfield tried to give up the game again against Toronto with 20 seconds left. It was, my God. So anyway, it's such a weird team, right? Noah Dobson is probably a Norris candidate at this point. It's like 40 points in 40 games. Like, what?
Dude.
So it's been a lot of fun.
Dobson and Barzal both have over 30 assists before, right at the halfway point of the year, which
this is not Islanders hockey that we know. This is not Barry Trotz, but
no, this is definitely a high octane offense. I mean,
like there's a core of 5 dudes who are like playing lights out right now. And I include Sorokin because he's absolutely under siege, but your big 4 of Horvat, Barzal, Nelson, and Dobson, man, they've been great.
Yeah, and I think we just went through a stretch where we played some of the top teams in the West.
Yeah, it's a brutal schedule. It's a brutal trip coming up.
Well, we just went and played Colorado in Denver,
Vancouver,
and we played Vegas and Vegas. I thought we played Vancouver at home. Did we play Vancouver?
Yes. Vancouver? We played them twice in the last month. But yeah, that was a home game.
Right. And we got beat pretty good by Vancouver and
Vegas.
We held our own with Colorado. We should have beat them, but we lost in overtime, right? But we got a point out of that.
That's our specialty.
It is our specialty. But we came home and we played the Toronto Maple Leafs 2 nights ago.
Which is always fun to beat up those idiots.
And another W for us in overtime, unfortunately, but still,
it was
3-1 at one
point.
So.
It was kind of an impressive win.
Yeah.
And they somehow didn't give up that third period goal that they love doing. So good on them. Should be fairly entertaining. If you want to say which winner team might do something, I agree with you. It might be the Isles. We care about.
I mean, this is the one thing I will say about the NHL right now. Like the West, it has swung to the West being the more dominant of the two conferences. With Vegas and Colorado, the last 2 champions, and they're both still playing well. Vancouver came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, the funny thing is I took a look at that team and, that Horvat trade, still do it 10 times
still
out of 10.
Steal. Yeah.
Beauvillier is like buried on the third line. Barely. I don't even know if
he's on like Chicago now and he's hurt.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. He got traded already. I see people like, you could bring him back at the deadline. I mean, I guess you could, but let's aim higher if we're going to do that.
No, thanks. We don't need Anthony Beauvillier. He was a nice complimentary piece, but he never developed. He's too small, and he was very inconsistent.
Yep.
And Roddy he's in the AHL or whatever. He hasn't even cracked the big team as far as I know.
Yep.
But I just said Beauvillier was on the team, so I could be wrong about that as well. And I don't know.
Well, no, I don't know who they used to get or who they picked. Steal of a trade.
Horvat's killing it. He's been the top line center. Everyone was worried he was just a number 2 line center, and he looks great with Barzal. The only thing I didn't understand. So I know that Lambert switched up the lines last game. Did that stick through the whole game, or was Barzal really centering the third line?
He really was. Casey's down for a while, it sounds like.
Oh wow, what happened to Cizikas?
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, Cizikas is hurt, man. He this is how Casey gets hurt, right? He gets in the way of like 100-mile-an-hour slap shots. Looked like he took it in like either the shin or the knee or something, and he couldn't skate. That was against Toronto, I think. I want to say. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was against Vancouver because they had this lineup against Toronto. So you're right. The power play though, which is like 8th in the league at this point, has been unstoppable. Those guys will still play together there, but you're right. They're split up now, 5-on-5.
Yeah. So it was interesting because Pageau dropped down to the fourth line,
which I don't mind.
I don't mind, but I don't know.
The third line was butt anyway, so
yeah, it hasn't been doing much, right?
No.
With Holmstrom and Pageau, they're basically fourth liners.
Yeah, and like Gauthier coming in and out, Wahlstrom.
Yeah, coming in and out. So Wahlstrom went up to the top line with Horvat and Lee. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That didn't look great, but we'll give him a minute.
Yeah.
And
in my opinion, why would you break that lineup? Why wouldn't you just put Fasching in as your fourth line center between Clutterbuck and Martin, and then let that third line stick together? I mean, at least they're defensively responsible. Wahlstrom can get the run now, or Gauthier can get the run with Holmstrom and Pageau, right?
Absolutely. I think a good coach would also know when to put Barzal and Horvat back out when needed, situationally, especially third period. So do we trust Lane to do this? Not really. He like puts Mayfield out with 30 seconds left with like Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, and Fasching, as you mentioned. Like they were trying to lose that. Or they were trying. Anyway, don't get me started on that. But yeah, you're right. We'll see if it's blender time or if this stays. I would like a better. I'd like a better coach, but broken record.
Yeah, but who?
Dean Evason.
Why was he a better coach? What
unless he did like something weird and he got fired because he's like a prick. And by the way, let's get to the Wink thing, Wink and Dayball thing. But
yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Let's get the coaching carousel is an interesting conversation. That's really where I wanted to start.
So anyway, like I'll wrap up the NHL. It's everyone in the league is scratching their heads of why Minnesota bailed on him so quick because he had such a good year last year.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's apparently heavily respected.
But you gotta remember, we're not dealing with a GM who cares. We're dealing with Lou, and Lou. This is Lou's guy, and I got to tell you, Lou's such a fickle guy when it comes to coaching. At least he wasn't. He was in Jersey, but he wasn't in Toronto. He stuck it out with Mike Babcock for way too long. And then he I don't think he elevated Keefe. I think that was after he got canned.
I think it was after he left. Yeah,
I think Babcock ran the entirety, and Babcock got a lot of flack when he left, right? Like everyone was like,
he's the worst. He's apparently worse than Keenan.
Well, he couldn't come back. I mean, didn't Detroit hire him and then they quickly fired him because
Detroit or Columbus, right?
Yeah, they were it was Columbus. Yeah.
No, you know what he was doing? He was like
pulled a Beltran. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like his first meeting with the team, he's like, everybody give me your phone. If I'm going to go through your phone. If there's anything you don't want me to see in here, that's going to reflect on you. And everybody's like, wait, what? I'm not giving you your phone. He was gone like the next day.
Right. Yeah, those little micromanagement.
Yeah.
You can't do that in today's NHL.
No, someone probably called the union delegate. But so anyway, man, Wink is gone. That sucks. But
well, did you read? So I
read all that.
But reading, I read Wink's story, I read Mike Vrabel's story, and I read Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft's story.
Oh, I don't care about that. You can tell me.
I mean, I don't care either, but it's juicy. It's like,
is it nice?
Yeah. Apparently these guys. I mean, maybe I'm the last of the party, but they hated each other. I didn't know that.
Kraft and Belichick
have hated each other for a decade.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Like the last 3 years, I would have guessed.
A decade. Wow. That's crazy to me. They've hated each other for a decade.
You put it away when you're winning, just like Dable and Wink last year, apparently.
Yeah. So let's talk about that first because that's the most pertinent. How do you feel about that first and foremost? Just losing Wink.
Wink is like an easy guy to like. You love wild card. It's easy to root for, right? Like he's a blitz heavy, says all the right things. Mad respected. Should probably be
definitely looks like he puts away a fifth of scotch every night. While he's working on the game plan.
So what was interesting was reading about, and I forget who wrote it, Charlotte or what's his name? Dan, at The Athletic, but the one where it was like, wow, like it got into the dirt between Daboll and Wink, and how Daboll is just like really intense on the sidelines and and grading on people, and it graded on Wink, even though he's an intense dude. His point was like, yeah, like if you're yelling like that in the moment, you're probably not focusing on the next play, which is hard to disagree with. So there was some pointed criticism, indirect criticism of Daboll in that article. I don't know which side to take, though, because let's face the facts. The Giants defense had its moments the last couple of years, but it's not statistically, it was a bad year.
So here's a few thoughts, outsider thoughts. Like,
yep,
Martindale was Harbaugh's man for a long, long time. And, as a Jets fan, we had Harbaugh's man before, which was Rex Ryan, right? Rex came over and he was went from their D coordinator, and I think Wink took over for Rex, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, probably.
There may have been a stopgap in between there, but Wink was in Baltimore for I want to
10
say
years.
a decade. Yeah.
No, it was 10.
Yeah, so Wink was in Baltimore for 10 years. So there must have been a stopgap between Rex and him, right? And Harbaugh's been the coach for he's going on 20 years now, I believe, right? I don't know who was the coach.
No, I mean it's at least double digits, but yeah.
Yeah, so
I can't remember who the coach was before.
Was it Belichick? I mean, not Belichick. Brian Billick. Was it Billick? No, that was
a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to Google all this stuff.
But I mean, anyway, it's a very successful franchise.
It's a very successful franchise, but the point, we're going down a rabbit hole. The point of what I'm trying to say here is Martindale and Ryan ran the same, 3-4 hybrid blitz heavy scheme, right? Man coverage for the most part, not a lot of zone, which is what the Giants ran the last 2 years, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay, and it works until it doesn't work,
right?
And the problem with the zero blitzes and a blitz heavy scheme is you got to get home, and if you're not getting home, you get exploited real quick, right? Because then if the quarterback gets the ball out quick, knows his hot route, and it gets to the hot route, and then beats your press coverage, and
you're toast. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
So I think that, if you don't have the right personnel or you don't get home,
right,
it can go from, it's a really like feast or famine defense, it was very evident when the Jets were running it for many years, because at the end we didn't have the personnel.
Yep.
We weren't able to get home. Rex's blitzes became very predictable. And, they would just roll the coverage, and then Rex wasn't adjusting in the game to switch sides or like disguise his blitzes better, and we wouldn't get home anymore. And that's why the last 2 years Rex fell apart. And then we went to Buffalo right after to coach. He didn't have the personnel. He took you transferring from the 4-3 to the 3-4 is tough if you don't have the right personnel.
Oh, of course. And great point about personnel, and great point about how you have to adapt. I mean, this worked well for the Giants early last year because no one had seen it. But you're right. I guess teams adjusted, and the fact that we're still dealing with mostly a Gettleman roster means they didn't have that personnel you mentioned. So yeah, I'm with you. I'll miss the guy. We'll see what happens. This is Daboll's. You get to do that once, right? You get to fire all your assistants once, and then it's on you. So pressure's on now, Daboll. And I lost. I had something else for you there with that Rex point, but I lost it.
So Harbaugh has been the coach since 2008. Okay, I want to make sure we're
that's awesome.
Right on all
15 years, 16 years, nice.
Okay,
and I remember they got absolutely smoked by the Cowboys twice, like the Raiders. It wasn't a great defensive year. So in Daboll we trust, in Shane we trust, I guess. But yeah, that was quite the clash of personalities. I think that's maybe the most interesting part of this. Maybe Daboll learns a lesson. or maybe.
Well, I think what happened. Let's talk about the last 2 years, because what is your overall thoughts and feelings on Daboll as a coach?
I was disappointed. I was quite disappointed in the offense this year. So I don't know.
That's a bold statement, man. Like you.
That reflects on Shane too, though. So it's a complicated question. Honestly,
hold on. I gotta pause you. Gotta pause you for a second. You started the year with Daniel Jones, who had grown last year. Now, granted, you had a 4th place schedule, so it wasn't hard 2 years ago.
That team also finished not great, even though we beat the Vikings.
Right. You guys snuck into the playoffs, but you turned Jones into a serviceable NFL quarterback in that offense. Right?
Absolutely, and that's all to Daboll.
Right. And,
yes.
And Daboll got Barkley back to, his pre-injury form in 2022. Then, let's flash forward to 2023. You came in 2nd place in the division, so you went from a 4th place schedule to a 2nd place schedule, which makes a difference, right? It makes a little bit of a difference.
Yep.
And then your starting quarterback gets injured like
week 9. Week 9 or
but he was injured before that.
You're right. There was something wrong.
He got injured like week 5.
We saw Tyrod early again.
A nagging injury.
Yeah.
And granted, he wasn't as effective. I don't know if that nagging injury affected what he was doing. But Tyrod came on earlier, and then that guy got injured immediately in his first start against the Jets. He got injured because that was the game. He got injured after.
And that's what he does, Taylor. But are we forgetting that outside of 1/2 against the Cardinals, the Giants basically didn't score any points for the first 3 games? Remember that? Like, it was a horrific start to the year.
Yes.
Like that ridiculous Arizona comeback saved them from starting like 0-5.
Yes, and we talked about that at the beginning.
And they were relatively healthy, although they lost Thomas like the first drive of the year. Yeah, if you want to put all this on the line, I'm not going to argue with you.
I think it's a combination of all these things. And like, look, in the NFL, you talk about other teams have had major injuries and they're able to bounce back and have better depth. And I think you can talk about that with Shane. I can talk about that with Douglas. But from a strict coaching standpoint, you lost your left tackle, who is one of the top left tackles in the game, right?
That's not to be ignored. That basically was a flat tire to the season right off the bat.
Right. And how long was he out? He was out for like 15 weeks?
Half the year at least, yeah.
At least.
He probably was never 100%.
Right. So that happens. And then
Neal went down too. Neal was bad and then he went down.
Right. So you lost both your starting tackles at some point. You lost your first string and your second string quarterback.
Yeah. Lewinsky was a nightmare.
I mean, dude.
The line was horrible.
We are simpatico on that, right? Yeah. Because it's the same shit. It was like a mirrored season. But what we both were playing third and fourth. We were playing 4th string quarterback at one point in time, and we both. We lost both of our starting. We lost 3 starting linemen for the year on our fucking starting week 1 offensive line. So we ended up playing with guys off the street. We started 13 different combinations in 17 games.
I feel like ridiculous. That's every year for both New York teams. That's every year for the Giants. We had to bring in Justin Pugh. Yeah, it is the Pugh. Well, it is the turf, right? By the way, you see AJ Brown go down. He ain't playing.
He's not playing.
That looked real bad. I mean, they're saying he's out this week, but
he's definitely
that looked like an ACL, man, or multi. Thanks, New Jersey.
Right, just put grass in, please. Just put grass in. It's not that hard. Every other stadium.
I don't know. So look, I don't want Daboll gone, and he did show some bounce back creativity fight at the end of the year.
But Martindale, what I read that was very striking to me is he had his 2 guys, the Wilkins brothers.
Yes,
I don't know what their names are.
And Daboll fired right.
And Daboll fired one of them because he was like.
I thought it was both.
I know he fired at least one of them, and then that's when Martindale cursed him out and just left.
Yeah, he's like, "Go fuck yourself," and walked out. Right, that was it.
And then they fired him shortly thereafter, right? And now he can go do whatever he wants to do, which maybe he ends up in Philly, which would really be.
Oh, of course he will. Like, right. Who do they have now? Matt Patricia. shit in the
Well,
bed.
they fire. I don't know. They changed D coordinators this year
Yeah.
after at some point in time. So.
Oh, so sad to see the wheels come. Watch them run and win the Super Bowl. By the way, I hate everything.
That team is
No, they look like a diarrhea fire.
I don't even know if they're gonna get out of the this week.
This week, yeah.
I don't know. I don't see it. Who do they play?
Hopefully.
They play
fucking
Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play Tampa.
Drew Magary picked Tampa like 35-10, and I'm like, that's not unreasonable.
Dude,
woke up feeling dangerous.
The Eagles lost at home to the fucking Cardinals 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they almost lost to the damn Giants too. So
right. So anyway, we're rambling here, but like at the end of the day, I don't know what I don't like. If I was a Giants fan, is like the descent. Like you guys had such a good year last year. Like how have the wheels
it's
come
toxic
up so
already
quickly? Yeah, like how did all that happen?
Well, it sounds like Dable does need to reevaluate some leadership stuff. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Like coaches are, I don't know. Man.
I don't want him fired. At all.
No, dude. I think that would be a huge mistake. I think
huge.
You got to just sit back and let him reflect on this season and see what he needs to change.
And this stuff happens with coordinators too. And
yeah.
And by the way, the NFL is such a goddamn small sample that it's just tough. All these guys are competent, right? And just so much goes into the final result. I don't know. Well, but you do need to be able to work with your coworkers, right? So that would be nice.
Interesting. We'll see. But
speaking of, do you have anything to say about like your team with the nonsense and the quotes and the TV appearances and all that bullshit? Or are you just shutting it out?
Oh, with the Rodgers and fucking Jimmy Kimmel? I don't know, dude. Like the Pat McAfee show was built on that. And I'm not saying that I agree with that. I think Rodgers
No, that's what it's built on.
Was trying to incite, what he got. He got what he wanted. He got media coverage. And the Pat McAfee show was built on that. And
ESPN is desperate to keep viewers,
Right. And he went and
the kids aren't watching it.
Because it sucks. I don't watch ESPN.
Yeah. No, it's so Pat McAfee's their attempt, their Hail Mary to
right. Yeah. So McAfee was one of the most viewed, YouTube shows in the country. I think you had to subscribe to it at one point in time or something like that.
If he was smart, he should have charged. Yeah. I never watched it.
And then ESPN came in and, offered him this sweetheart deal. We'll give you whatever you want, but they can't do the shit that they were doing on YouTube on ESPN. Right. And so now
sucks working for Disney, doesn't it?
I mean, Rodgers said what he said. McAfee, I guarantee you, ESPN was like, you better condemn what he said, because doesn't Kimmel work for ABC as well? Like, isn't it all?
Not only does Kimmel work for ABC, but I think on the same show, someone was calling out an ESPN employee too. I forget who. McAfee or Rodgers said like just as bad things about like a literal ESPN employee too. So yeah, they're having fun over there.
Right. And we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about all that is like, I guess Pat asked Aaron, what are we going to do to turn around the Jets? And Aaron's like, well, we got to stop with all the nonsense. And that was the funniest thing I've ever heard him say. So cheers to that.
Yes. I figured you were going to kick out of that.
Yeah.
I think it'll be great that we're not on Hard Knocks next year. I think
you guys
it'll be
need
great.
A timeout from everything.
I think it'll be great that there is going to be low expectations.
No, there's not. He's going to be on 24/7.
He will, but I don't think anyone's going to be picking the Jets to go to the Super Bowl this year, is what I'm saying. So there's not going to be this hype around them. They're going to be like, can they recover and bounce back? Sure, there'll be some sort of coverage on them, but it's not going to be Jets could win the Super Bowl. I think it's a good year for Douglas to refocus and Saleh to refocus, and they can go and figure out what they need to figure out. And hold on one second. My dog,
no problem.
My dog's in here, and I think he's got to go to the bathroom. So let me let him out real quick.
That reminds me. Going to the bathroom. This is my startup DIY area.
Poor little Harvey,
I think I'll mash it together. So it's like DIY AREI. Oh, sorry. I was talking to the audience while you were gone. What's up?
Yes. So So I think at the end of the day, we're gonna do okay. I'm not overly concerned. We need to. It depends on what we do in the off season, right? We have a
Yeah.
bunch of holes to fill, but we also
Yeah,
have
same with the Giants.
we have a good roster if we can stay healthy, and if we fill the holes with competent players that aren't, and we don't get injured next year, we have a chance to be good. Everyone wanted to shit on. It's the same thing, dude. You were playing your third string quarterback
Yeah.
for more than half.
No, there was no hope.
We played our third string quarterback, our fourth string quarterback, and our backup quarterback for the entire year. Right?
Honestly, you could say that to me about any year for the Jets in the last decade, and I would believe you. I'd be like, yeah, that happened in 2015, 2016. No, that was probably the Fitz year, but like that's every year for you guys,
right.
Unfortunately.
Right. So as far as like we need to fix our offensive line, there's some positive things. There's some guys that we just need to cut ties with. Becton is a bust. Dwayne Brown coming back as our starting left tackle was a poor idea. You know, AVT tearing his Achilles was a terrible injury, and if he comes back and he's ready to go in training camp and he can move and he's the guy that he's been, and we can plug him in at right guard. We got a right guard. Joe Tippmann was great as a rookie. We got a center right guard. We're probably going to cut Laken Tomlinson. He's been a huge bust. Yeah. So we need a right tackle, a left guard, and a left tackle.
Brand new line.
I don't
Simple.
know, man. I mean,
the Giants kind of have to do it too. So
yeah, so I don't know, and we need a number 2 receiver. I don't know where that's going to come from because Lazard has also been a bust. I think that was
the things we were trying to talk ourselves into in August, man.
But why would I think Alan Lazard was going to be literally the worst receiver in the NFL this year? There was no indication of that. Like 100% out of 89 receivers, he is 89th.
Yeah, but what was he with Rodgers? Like 50th, 40th?
I mean, dude, he was a competent guy that can't get open.
No, I mean, you guys need another big dog. You need like a Mike Evans or something.
I would love to see Devontae Adams come here. I don't know what he's going to cost. I don't know if the Raiders are going to be willing to trade
I totally forgot about that. He probably is coming.
If we can get Devontae and Garrett and then Lazard as your third or fourth guy, and then maybe Xavier Gibson can play that little slot like scat role.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about Lazard, but you guys will. You guys will figure it out. I totally forgot about Devontae. Makes sense,
right? So I don't know.
He probably wants to come here, but yeah,
I don't know. It's so early. The playoffs are starting today. Who cares?
Exactly.
But it was just let's talk about some bigger stuff though. Belichick is gone. Saban retired. And Pete Carroll is gone all in 24 hours. I thought that was...
Vaya con Dios, Pete.
All of them. I thought that was crazy, man. Like, looks like the Seahawks pushed out Carroll because I think...
Amicably, though. They had a party for him. Everybody's happy.
He came out the next day and said he didn't get... it wasn't the football people's choice to kick him out or something.
I thought he was staying in the org.
He is staying in the org, but it's like a fucking cushy, like... advisor roles from what I can understand. So
I like Pete. I like Pete. He coached the immortal 1991 Jets who went 8-8. He has a lot of interesting ideas about what happened on September 11th, 2001. I'm a big fan of Pete. He chews a lot of gum. He'll tell you about a planned demolition of a tall building. He'll fill you in if you ever have questions on that.
Yeah, he also made USC relevant again though. After many
tough to
years.
do.
Oh, he cheated, but who didn't? He just got caught. So I don't know, man. I think it's just the guys won a Super Bowl. He made Seattle football relevant. He made USC football relevant.
Yeah, man. No, I love Pete.
He got a fucking raw deal from the Jets. He should have never been fired that year.
It's the Jets.
Right. Shocker.
It's the aristocrats.
Yeah.
The aristocrats.
So I don't know, man. That was interesting. Then Belichick goes down a couple days later.
That wasn't a surprise. Like, bye.
No, I think yes, all everything of what you said. And reading that story on ESPN, it was very detailed and intricate. It like has dates and like specific events. And Belichick wanted to trade Brady in 2014, dude. That's
shit.
So,
honestly, but that's how like monomaniacal he was, right? Or megaloman. You know what I'm saying? I can win with anyone.
Exactly, and it's shown he can't. He's not that great of a coach. He's a terrible GM,
Yeah.
and
Well,
without
yeah,
without Brady,
mostly.
he's not a great coach. He hasn't shown much lately as a
No,
GM.
he's a great defensive coach. I don't think
He's
he.
a great defensive coach, but he's not
Yeah.
a great. I mean, dude, the whole Joe Judge, Matt Patricia as your
Oh,
offensive coordinator last year. That
his
was,
his,
I think,
his tree is toxic. His tree has Dutch elm disease, man. All those guys suck.
name a guy. Name a
Yeah,
guy that
you
came out
can't.
of his tree.
Josh
You can't.
McDaniels, Romeo Crennel, Joe Judge.
The only guy that had some success is Bill O'Brien, and he's the offensive coordinator there.
The man genius.
Nope.
Remember him?
Yep.
Whatever happened to him?
I think he's like a commentator on college football or something. He's
So,
slipped
no,
off.
good for him. I hadn't thought about that dude in a while.
Yeah. It's always the Jets coaches that can't fucking pull it together.
And by the way, someone said the funniest thing would be for the Jets to hire Belichick right now,
and then him quit the next day and go coach the Chargers.
Yeah. And then you get Al Groh, who is itching for another chance in the NFL. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I thought that guy retired.
He's probably dead.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That guy retired. He left the Jets to go.
He ran Virginia into the ground.
Yeah, to go take his dream job at his alma mater at UVA, and they
football
went
powerhouse.
8-8 for like 13 years, and then I think he retired in the last 5 years.
Oh, the old Jeff Fisher plan. Nice.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're iconic, but honestly, I'm sick of all these guys. I'm a hater. I always root for the underdogs. I've never liked Belichick.
No,
actually, I've always been mad about the Hanley Belichick thing. So I respect the dude, but
he seems like an asshole. Yeah,
yeah, he's
to
a
your
prick.
point. I guess that is where I was trying to go with this. Is that it's a whole new, a new page of coaching tree. Like this is the first year since 1998 that Manning and Brady aren't in the playoffs. Think about that.
Yeah, that's wild.
And this is Belichick and Carroll now gone. And dude, not for nothing, I thought Mike Vrabel would have been the shoe-in, and I think that's why Tennessee wanted to fire him, because if you read that whole story, that shit's crazy too.
Do you have like a Cliff Notes version? I don't want to like kill the entire show on it, but
5 seconds.
Yeah,
he basically got inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame this year on the Titans bye week, and during his speech, he basically told the fans of the Patriots, "Hey, like, don't take for granted how well run this organization is, and how awesome it is to be a Patriots fan, because there's other places that it's a disaster." And the owner obviously took that as he was talking about Tennessee, and that is what basically led to the one of many things, but that was like a nail in the coffin.
That was stupid, Mike. Come on, not you, but Mike Vrabel, of course.
I understood who you were talking to, and then he wanted to be passive aggressive and say I wasn't talking about the Titans.
Of course, like you can argue that you weren't, but you
right. It was a pot shot, and it was dumb. And then I think he thought he was going to go back to New England to coach the Patriots.
Yeah. Although, that is also the Tennessee owner being insecure and projecting his insecurities by thinking he was talking about them. But
it's a her, not a him.
So. Oh, fuck. I'll finish my drink. I'm so sorry.
Yes. But yes, I agreed on all parts. So, but anyway, enough about other coaches. I just think it's a turning of a new page and starting of a new guard in the NFL.
And honestly, good.
Good. Yeah, I'm tired of it's been 25 years of Belichick and Brady and
honestly, we still have Andy Reid, Old Faithful.
He's
we have him to kick around.
What annoys me about him is his fucking State Farm commercials. So enough talking, making him look even fatter than he is.
At least he's leaning into being a fat lard ass. Like,
yes,
like some people wouldn't have a sense of humor about it. So.
He's getting paid more to do commercials. He's won his second Super Bowl. Have a little fun. He's probably maybe he retires after this year, man. Probably had if he's fucking the Travis Kelce show, that thing is going. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost this fine Super Wild Card Saturday.
That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if it'll happen because God, the refs love the Chiefs. No, but if I was Andy Reid and I won another title with that wide receiver room, I would fucking retire immediately and go to an island. What the hell is going? Thank God. I mean, like, have they had a receiver other than Tyreek since like Dwayne Bowe had that 1 year?
Rice had a pretty decent year as a rookie.
Yeah, he did. Fine. That's fine.
I think that they've just swung and missed at so many.
Yeah.
You know, once they traded Tyreek, they brought in Sky Moore, who you had the fucking funsies of drafting and starting in your dynasty lineup so far. How's that turned out for you?
I am not joking. Like, my roster is deep. He might get cut this offseason.
And with no shame in your game right. On that.
No.
He stinks. He can't get open. Yep. And I think that's the problem with all the receivers. It's their receiver room is very much so to me like the Mets bullpen from last year. Yeah. They all throw 94-mile-an-hour fastballs and 90-mile-an-hour sliders.
Yeah, they're all the same dude, and
nobody can break free.
I'm not even talking about this year though, man. Like, it seems like it's always been a problem with them. But I guess Tyreek helps. So I'm being a little unfair.
Well, when you had Tyreek that could take the top off, and you had Kelsey work in the middle, then you just needed a guy.
Oh, dude, of course. I'm just saying, like,
right?
I just can't believe they have not been able to find another receiver other than Tyreek in last decade.
Tyreek's a Hall of Famer. Like, you cut bait on him a little early.
But you have Patrick Mahomes. Like, how is Pat not helping these guys?
Patty looks slow. Patty looks dumbfounded this year. He's not running anymore.
Right, it is different.
Yeah, he's not running anymore. He doesn't want to scramble. Kelsey is definitely not getting open as easily as he has been in the past. He's not manhandling guys the way he used to. So they're getting old, dude. They played a lot.
But isn't Pat like 26?
It's like 26, 27, but they've played so much more football than most teams.
That's fair.
And they through the playoff, they've been in the playoffs every year for the last like 6 years. They won the division, I think, 6 years in a row. So they played at least 1 to 2 games extra every year, and some years 4 games extra, right? And those games are like hard fought.
That's
Super
fair.
Bowl playoff games. So I think it's just starting to take a toll on them. And this Taylor Swift, I think, and I also think.
I wasn't even thinking about that part.
Many distractions, dude. I mean, Kelsey, you can't turn on the fucking television without seeing this guy in a commercial. Taylor Swift is covered at every game. Andy Reid's in a fucking million commercials. Patrick Mahomes is still in a million commercials. Like, I can't wait till this. Please lose in the first round this year, please. I don't need to see another State Farm commercial with either of these idiots.
That's the problem with the NFL in general. Like TV as a televised product sucks. I'm sorry, football is a televised product. TV is it's working.
The actual game on TV
but like,
is better than in person, in my opinion. But all the other bullshit, there's so many commercials, and they're all like
it's all the same. It's the same 6 over and over. Right. It's like, oh look, I'm sitting in the airplane seat in the middle, and the flight attendant's fucking with me. This is funny, and then you get to watch the same goddamn joke from August through the end of January. Over and over. It's a funny joke, though.
When you pay
it's great.
$100 million, man, when you pay $100 million, you got to order your fucking Pizza Hut for fucking game time. You got to have.
That's what's so disappointing about this future we're jumping into here, man. It's just like it's all about selling ads to people, and it's just so stupid. Everything is just so dumb. Anyway, I don't want to get started on that. What was I going to say about the Chiefs real quick? Fuck. Oh, one of my favorite plays of the NFL season was that ridiculous Tony play. And it basically sums up the Chiefs in total. Like, they are an amazingly talented and fun to watch team. And then, of course, Kadarius Toney fucks it up. That's not the point. But like that, their reaction to the referee actually daring to call the penalty afterwards, like all the bitching, it's like, go away. I'm with you.
Right. I've had enough of the Chiefs. I've had enough of all of
it. But that play was fucking sick. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where the hook and ladder thing with Kelsey.
Kadarius Toney lined up on the other side of the field.
Which he is pure, unadulterated Kadarius Toney right in my veins. That's...
Dude, he's a guy that could have been, and that's why they took a chance on him. But
of course.
He can't get out of his own way.
And by the way, Waller didn't do much this year either.
No, Waller.
There are no winners in that trade.
Well, Waller.
Darren Waller, remember him?
Yeah, but I don't think that was the same trade. Waller came from the Raiders.
I'm counting it because the 3rd round pick that we got for Tony went to Vegas.
Got it.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I guess I shortcutted that.
Waller definitely continued his streak of playing less than half the games in a year for the 3rd year running. So, and I don't. It's the NFL. If you catch lightning in a bottle with a guy that can stay healthy for a year, it's worth it.
That's basically it.
If Waller stayed healthy all year, then it's a great move by Shane.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does what he did this year, instead, it's while he was injury plagued, why would you make that move? You got to make that move. Because if that guy plays, he's a top 5 tight end in the NFL. And if he doesn't play, well, you gave up a 3rd round pick to try, right?
Oh, no, I'm not complaining about it. I
know you're not complaining.
It's just cursed, right? The whole series of transactions.
Kadarius Toney is just an idiot. He needs to check himself at the door.
Thanks, Gettleman.
Thanks, Gettleman. So enough bitching about football. What else do we want to talk about, Dougie?
Do we want to bitch about the Mets starting rotation? Everyone is so down on the Mets, man. You guys need better hobbies.
I'm not down on the Mets, but let me tell you what I think is the problem. Is that for the last 3 years, Cohen came in and spent money on
shock and awe, yeah.
Yeah, and this year Stearns came in with a very meticulous approach, and we haven't signed anybody worth, any shock value. There's no, and
good.
We're talking about, I agree with you on that. And I think with the 7th, wild card, right? The 7 positions that you can get for the postseason, we have a chance to compete for one of these wild cards, right?
Not for nothing, but Fangraphs has the Mets as the 5th best team in the NL.
If everyone returns to their former form, look,
or if most of them, if Diaz is good again,
our entire team had a down year. Our closer didn't pitch.
The pitching could not get worse.
Pitching couldn't get worse. Our closer was out for the year because of the stupid WBC that we don't have to talk about this year. Pete Alonso had his worst batting.
That was the angriest you were last year, I think. All our episodes. I'm trying to think of anything else, but that was, I think,
ACL?
The angry, the show we did after that. Yeah, I think it was
I think you asked me about the WBC 2 shows earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope none of these Mets get hurt because half our roster's playing. And what happens? This guy it's very similar to the Rogers injury. We didn't even, we're coming off of
didn't even get a chance.
Year, and we didn't even get a chance. And not that a closer means anything, because I don't know how many games he would have gotten the lead in anyway, because we suck so bad. But Jesus Christ, dude, we didn't have a chance. We fought with one arm tied behind our back from day one because of the stupid WBC.
It was a mess. But
you don't think Shohei Ohtani tore his UCL this year because it had anything to do with the WBC? Maybe not. But
maybe
how many extra innings did he throw this year?
Right?
Because of that? Stupid. In March, it's fucking stupid.
In March, it's the worst. Yeah. Hey, I don't know what you do, but
let's do a huge tournament before we even do spring training.
Before guys are ramped up. Yep.
Brilliant, guys.
Yep.
So, let's talk about the Mets. I don't know, dude. I'm not super excited about I think our starting rotation has the potential to be worse than last year.
I'd see. That's where I disagree with, I guess, most people.
Okay, so Senga.
Can we look at last year?
Let's just talk about this for a second. Senga is going into a sophomore year. Their book is out on him now. I'm not saying he can't do as well or better than last year, and I hope he can. But he also
he was really good last year.
Really good, but the book is out on him. Okay, then you got Jose Quintana, who pitched half a season and he was not great. He was coming off a stupid injury. He's 35 years old and he's a junk ball lefty. So I don't have high hopes for him. I think he could be very reminiscent of Carlos Carrasco this year. He may bounce back and have a league average year, but as your number 2 starter going against other number 2 starters, I don't even he could lose a bunch of games 2-1. Who fucking knows, even if he's great. Your number 3 starter is supposed to be Luis Severino, who we're hoping that can come back. I hope so. I think that there's very good reasons to think he can come back, but he sucked the last 3 years. So Maybe
Well,
we can
no,
change
he
him.
was really good in 21 or 22.
Whatever. He sucked the last 2 years. So can he come back? He's still young enough, and maybe we've seen
What is he,
something
like
that we
29? Yeah, he's
29. He's
still
going to
young.
turn 30. He's still young. And then your fourth starter is Manea, who was pitching out of the bullpen as a long man at the end of last year, and they liked what they saw because he developed a sweeper. Cool. And he's an innings eater.
Well, they were using openers. That's not his fault.
And then you got Hauser as your
Okay.
fifth starter, who's also an innings eater and a sinker ball guy.
Okay.
Hey,
No,
man.
no. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's review what happened last year. Carlos Carrasco made 20 starts. Guess what his ERA was?
Like 6.5.
6.8.
Yeah.
Let's slide Hauser in for that.
Right. So you're going to say 2 runs a game.
David Peterson made 21 starts. 5 ERA.
Okay.
I think Manea can be better than that.
Okay. I don't know, maybe 4.5. So you're saving half.
Tyler McGill made 25 starts last year, 4.7 ERA.
Okay.
Can Sevy make 25 starts? That's questionable, but I would argue he's going to be better than that. Quintana made 13 starts, 3.57 ERA. You know what's interesting? There were 35 starts combined from Max and Justin last year for about that same ERA. Max was 4, Justin made 16 starts, 3.15. Quintana, theoretically, if he stays healthy, can pick that slack up to another 30 starts. My point is these guys sucked ass. Like everybody we ran out there sucked ass last year. Denny Reyes, 7 starts. Actually, you know what? Jose Buto, 7 starts, really good ERA. Maybe he's something. Lucchesi, everyone's forgetting. I think he's going to have a big role this year. If he stays healthy, he had a under 3 ERA in 13 starts. No, sorry, 9 starts. Yeah, it's not as bad, but like the cookie was awful last year. Peterson and McGill were awful. Verlander was hurt for a bit. Max was hurt. They were dumped.
Dude, it was a
fucking nightmare. And I'm not even getting to the bullpen, which was ass. I was surprised. The Mets ERA I thought would be higher than this. It was 4.3 last year. I do think they can get down to like at least 4. And then you say, okay, will the bats save them? Maybe. But I think you're right in general. Like they're going to have to win some high scoring games and the bullpen's going to have to be good. So I'm not telling you it's all rainbows and daisies, but like this whole thing where it's like, oh, the Mets aren't even going to compete last year. I vehemently disagree.
I'm not saying that they're not going to compete. I think we're in a
and we are in a recharge year, of course.
We're in a cross.
We're refreshing the payroll.
Right. So we need to your point, we need to get under the luxury tax so that we're not continuously paying all this excess money that we're going to pay this year for nothing, right? We're paying for other players to be on other
to play elsewhere.
But the problem I think we're seeing is like, we haven't had a homegrown crop like Pete and Jeff in a while. And like
it's coming though.
Jeff, we re-signed, and who knows where that's going to end up because his contract is very tradable. And Pete is, I don't know. I think what we're going to do with Pete is what people are starting to say. Like the guy, we can match any contract. If he wants to stay here, let him go get his contract and do what Yamamoto did.
And bring it back.
Yeah. Why negotiate against ourselves? But right. I don't know.
And I'm fine with that. I'm actually hopeful he'll stay.
I'm hopeful he'll stay too. And I think he will. I think, we can at least, if he's willing to go out and match, we can say, hey, just get your best offer and we'll match it. We just don't want to overpay you more. Right?
Unless you absolutely know that you're getting like Juan Soto or something. It would be a mistake to let Pete walk.
It would. Even if he digresses in the last 3 years of his deal.
That's fine.
And I think it's, I guess in theory, it's good business to see if he has a bounce back year this year because he's in a contract year. He hit the worst of his career last year, 229 or something. And yes, he had home runs and RBIs. That didn't go away, but his on-base percentage, his batting average, all that shit went down last year.
We're still talking a 122 OPS plus guy. That's a star. So sure, he had a bad.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
and I don't want to get lost in his shit. But let's see what.
And he had really bad luck.
He did.
Sorry
And
for all the advanced stats crap. But
no, that's what we want to talk about. And look at with him and McNeil and Lindor, you got 3 solid bats. With Nimmo at the top of your lineup and Alvarez, you got 5 solid bats. If Marte can return to somewhere in between where he was the first year and where he was last year,
yes, that's all you need.
He's going to be a decent, and he plays good defense in right field.
Yep.
Bader's a Gold Glover in center field,
and Taylor's got their backs. It's a really good outfield.
Taylor's your fourth
glove wise
guy, and I read Stearns quotes the other day. It looks like Vientos and Stewart are going to be your DH. And
God help us.
And Beatty is going to be your third baseman. And
apparently Soler, Jorge Soler. Do you have any thoughts on him? He's going to decide on a team soon, and the Mets are apparently involved. I don't have too many thoughts. I haven't watched him play much.
I mean, he came up. He was one of those Cuban guys that came over when he was really young and
real hyped.
Signed.
He's on the wrong side of 30 now.
Yeah, super hyped up. He's still got pop. He can. I think he's like a 250, 260 career hitter. He's probably averaged like 20, 25 home runs a year, 60, 70 RBIs. Probably strikes out more than we would prefer.
He's like a 1 or 2 WAR guy, unfortunately. If you believe in that shit,
I don't think he's a big on base guy.
Would you rather have him or Turner, Justin Turner?
I'd rather have Turner. I think Turner.
I think I would too.
Would be good.
You need that third base
he'd be
versatility.
Good, yeah, like backup for Beatty at third base. But I think his intangibles of being the grizzled vet that could really show Beatty what he needs to do to be.
It could go like off the cliff with him because he's 40, but
right.
Yeah,
so I
agree.
Know. I don't know, man. But I'm also okay, and I'm just saying it now with Vientos and Stewart being our platoon at DH to start the year, because Stewart did all right against right-hand pitching last year. He had his OPS.
Oh, dude, he had a great year, man. If he can keep it going,
he's done that in the minor leagues. Guy's a former first-round pick. I mean, he's got the pedigree.
If he's for real, then problem solved, man.
Right, and he can play right field in a pinch. He can play left field in the pinch, and he can be your starting DH against the right-handed pitchers. And then Vientos can play backup third, backup first, and he can be your left-handed DH.
I don't hate it.
And let's see what Vientos has. The guy's mashed AAA. There's no reason to send the guy back to AAA. He's got nothing left to prove.
I agree there.
So
I'm skeptical so far because of what we've seen from him, but sure. I know we got to go early today, so I have one last question for you, because here's something optimistic we can talk about with the Mets and that we haven't. There are actually like 4 or 5, 6 starting pitchers coming up through the system.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts of them yet? And I'm talking Tidwell, Scott, blanking, of course, but like anyone you're excited about, and do you think someone will step up and contribute?
I don't know if this year they will, because no one was above AA except I think Hamilton.
I want to say Scott and Tidwell and Stewart are the closest. I might be off.
I think
or Vassell. I'm sorry, Vassell's up there too.
Vassell and Hamill got a few starts at AAA at the end of the year.
And I think people are talking about like Scott can make the jump too.
I think Scott has the highest ceiling based on everything I've read. I like Tidwell a lot. He was borderline a first round pick.
Yeah.
Came out of college. I think he pitched for Tennessee. He's got he throws high 90s with like some nasty off speed or breaking stuff. And he pitched really well in his first year. The only reason he even fell to the in between first and second round, which is stupid, was because he had I think he has like a partially torn UCL or something.
Yeah,
shit.
Injury.
He had some injury, but he pitched very well in his first year, so I like him the best. It's
a nice little wave, though, right?
Well, you hope that some of these guys pan out.
You think at least one will, hopefully. That's what I'm saying.
I think Tidwell and Scott are the guys they're talking about being the possibility of being 2 threes. I think Vassell and Hamill, and who's the other guy that I'm missing?
I know, I'm forgetting.
There's one other guy that
that
I'm not able. They think they'll be back of the rotation, possibly. Guys are like 6 starter kind of guys, kind of like what McGill's been. There's
like a guy named Sproat way down in the minor leagues. There's Ziegler. Anyway, go ahead. I
personally like Vassell. I think Vassell, if you look at his long pedigree, He was at UVA after his junior year. He could have came out, and they thought he would have been a first round. Or he was at some college. He would have came out and been a first round pick. He went back for his senior year. He had a terrible senior year. They changed pitching coaches. Yep. They tried to change his repertoire. They wanted him to pitch a different style, and he did what the coaches told him to do, and it totally fucked him up. He fell to like the 5th or 6th round. Mets picked him up, and they think he had first round talent. And that since they've gotten him in the organization, he's pitched very well. So I think Vassal's a guy you could see this year. I don't know if he's going to – I don't know if any of these guys are going to be top-line starters.
No, not saying that, but –
help our depth. It would be nice. But, hey, man, Jacob deGrom, when it was Harvey and Syndergaard and DeGrom and Matz and Wheeler, DeGrom was like the last of those
He was
five.
Off the radar, and then he was suddenly here. It was wild.
Yep. And he was he obviously still is the best out of all of them, right?
Yep.
Wheeler's a close second. Syndergaard's flamed out. Harvey flamed out.
Wheeler's done pretty damn well for himself. And honestly, like Wheeler might end up with a better career. Unfortunately. Jake, oh man, we should do a show sometime later, maybe years from now, just to appreciate what we saw from Jake. My goodness. It was such a weird career though. Anyway. That's the double IPA kicking in.
He definitely left on bad terms, and I am still.
But some of those starts were the best pitching I've seen in my life.
Agreed. Still go back to 2022. Should have gone for it at the deadline, and now here we are.
Oh God,
talking about Sean Manaea and fucking maybe getting a second.
No, thanks for bringing me back down. You're right.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Again, low expectations, just like the Jets. It'll be nice.
It's been a good show, Dougie.
It has.
What do you got to say?
Man, there's so many candidates. We've already been through Wink. We've already been through Pete Carroll. So I'm going to say my vaya con Dios to all-time Met, former manager, only Met who was in uniform for both World Series titles, fucking pitchman growing up on the radio, just like he was. He is one of the quintessential Mets, and that's Buddy Harrelson. So, vaya con Dios, buddy.
Vaya con Dios, buddy.
I was really confused when you took over for Davey Johnson in 1990, and it didn't go well. But man, respect.
Yep.
And I'll never forget you guiding Ray Knight down the third base line during this play right here, Game 6. Buddy was jumping on his back before he scored.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was sad. He made it to 79 though. That's not a bad life,
Absolutely. And he squared up with Pete Rose, which I don't think I would be capable of doing. So, mad respect.
Yep. All-time man.
That guy was nuts. But yeah.
All right, Dougie.
All right.
It's been a good show, audience. Till next
time.
Man.
See you guys.
All right.
All right.
That was good, man. What do you want to